Radio's official FA Cup live, covering every game, every goal. Live, SJ Radio.
Next round of games, please. Let's get on the way. Wigan West Ham full commentary. Also, we're giving you a round of games, footage when a goal goes in. You'll know about it. Huddersfield Town, Birmingham City, Hull City, Nottingham Forest, Middlesbrough, Brighton, Millwall, Rochdale, MK Dons, Coventry City, Notts County, Swansea City, Suffolk Wednesday, Preston North End, Southampton, and Watford and Coventry on Wigan and West Ham. The team lineups. For Wigan in 4-2-3-1 formation. Got Ramsden in goal, then you got Byrne, Barkley, another Byrne. Alden Marsley's captain, Powder, Jacobs, Powell, Messi, and Gig. On the substitutes you got Flannery, Pickens, Bruce, Roberts, Jones, James, and Kloloff. West Ham 3-4-3 formation. Captain Joe Hart in goal, Burke, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Zemelatsa, Ogban, Cannon, Sam Bryan, Lopez, Checarito, and Masiku. On substitutes you got Adrian, Newin signing yesterday, Melio is in the starting substitutes. Also Collins, Oxford, Noble, Carroll, and Lanzini. Wigan Athletic to win 7-5, for to be a draw, and for to be a replay 11-5, and for there to be. And then for West Ham to win is 2-1. Then we have all the other commentaries for yourself. Huddersfield Town to win 5-6, for to be a draw 9-4, and Birmingham 19-5. Hull City to win at home 11-8, draw 22-10, and an away win for Nottingham Forest 2-1. Middlesbrough 11-10 for the big draw, and 21-10, and Brighton 11-4. Millwall 4-1 to win at home 29-10 for the big draw, and 5-1 for Rochdale to win. MK Dons winning 6-4, draw 21-10, and 15-8 for Coventry. Notts County 19-5, Swansea 3-4, and 5-2 for draw. Also Sheffield United 6-5, Pressfield North End 12-5, and for the big draw it is 9-4. Southampton 13-5, Watford 16-5, and 13-5 for a draw. So we don't do anything for you. FA Cup live coverage, full front around the globe and around the grounds for yourself. Now Wigan and West Ham live commentary, and we'll let you know as soon as the goal goes in around all the other games. Then if that's not enough for yourself and you wanted more, 7:45 Liverpool West Brom, and 5:30 live commentary on Newport County and Tottenham Hotspur. At the moment, Newport 16-1, Tottenham 1-6, for be a draw and a replay 13-2. Liverpool 7:45 1-4. But first, a minute silence at West Brom then for the sad death of Jimmy Arfield. Of course, was a England midfielder in the World Cup and a commentator on BBC 5 Live. It's a minute of silence and a minute of applause at the whistle, and then it's kick-off. Wigan and West Ham United on the fourth round of the FA Cup.
Jimmy Armfield, Phil, made the job you're doing today sound easy, didn't he?
He was magnificent. What a great man. I played for Blackpool at the end of my career, and
2-minute clause there for yourself, and we're underway.
SJ Radio's official FA Cup live, covering every game, every goal. Live, SJ Radio.
Claret and blue shirts, and they're wearing white shorts and white socks, and we are underway as Wigan plant a high ball down the left-hand side. Lovely turn from Nick Powell on the left, tries a little pass inside, intercepted. West Ham have possession, but they're under a little bit of pressure, have to clear hurriedly downfield, and Wigan have got it, made a good start on the halfway line. They're in possession with Max Power, who slides the ball into the feet of Powell. Little no-look pass from Powell, and then he drifts past one, puts it on the outside of him to Byrne, who puts in a low cross, cleared away. Not too far though. West Ham have possession on the left-hand touchline, cleared up towards halfway and collected by Antonio Martinez. Martinez and Hernandez playing in attack for West Ham. Morsey in possession in central midfield, and fouls his opposite number, Josh Cullen. It's a free kick to West Ham in the centre circle.
that's the best part of Josh Cullen's game. You know, if it looks like anybody's trying to, you know, take the mick and pass the ball around him, he gets amongst them. He gets a foot in. He makes it a physical game. You're never going to have an easy game with Josh Cullen around, but Nick Powell just showed his first couple of touches. He is absolutely on top of the ground in terms of confidence.
Well, he shouldn't be playing in League One, if we're all honest.
Correct, yeah.
He was at Crewe. I saw him at Crewe as a youngster, and he was terrific. Scored an amazing goal in the playoff final. You remember at Wembley, turn and shot to put them 1-0 up. Alex Ferguson says he will play for England. Signed him, and I don't know what's happened to him. He's obviously finding form in this league this season. He's got all that ability, and maybe he can still make it to that level, but he should have been one of England's stars right now and in the team if it had all gone right for him.
I wouldn't disagree with that at all, Jonathan, but sometimes, you know, players have to come down a level to get that confidence, to get that ability to play week in and week out, and Cookie obviously rates the lad to that extent, and we've seen a couple of little touches here in the first couple of minutes. It just shows you, people normally play their way into games, but this kid's had a couple of touches, a little reverse, a little Cruyff turn, went past the West Ham players if he wasn't there.
Free kick for West Ham. It's on the right hand side, midway inside the Wigan half. It's a good chance to cross. It's only 4 yards in from the right hand touchline, and it's going to be whipped in by Cresswell. Good looking delivery, good defensive header back there, and it's out for a throw in to West Ham near the corner flag on the right hand side. 0-0.
Lovely left foot, isn't he, Cresswell? And you come on the opposite side of the pitch for an in-swinger. Delivered a great ball, but I tell you, the two centre-halves are going to take some good quality balls into the penalty box to beat the two centre-halves. Zabaleta
by the corner flag gets it across away, but it's blocked. It's bouncing on the edge of the penalty area at the moment, and no one can get it under. Has been got under by Obiang. Tries a shot left-footed. Takes a challenge on the edge of the box. Zabaleta goes round his man, but he was offside. He could have gone down there for a penalty, but he was offside to begin with. It's a free kick to Wigan inside their own penalty area.
I'm not sure it was Zabaleta that was offside. I think it was Sam Byron, and he did a little dummy, and allowed Zabaleta to go through. But that's the genuine side of Zabaleta. He could have quite easily gone down for a penalty there, but he tried to stay on his feet to get the crossing.
0-0. Wigan's terrific defensive record, and in fact when Dan Byrne and Shea Dunkley have played at centre-back, they've conceded 2 goals in 10 league games, which is incredible. 13 league goals conceded this season, and apart from 2 teams, every other team in the division has conceded double. Double. I mean, that's staggering.
Every credit. It's got to be down to what they do on the training ground. I know Liam Richardson very well as well. He's standing next to Cookie at the touchlines. He's one of the unsung heroes of the game. You know, quite often you get an assistant manager or a first team coach never get mentioned when the club's doing that well, but they must be doing something right on the training ground. They've got to be.
Southampton leading Watford 1-0. Jack Stevens has scored in the FA Cup in the 4th minute. Here there's no goals, and West Ham are in possession in centre field with Sam Byram, former Leeds United player, of course. Hasn't quite made the breakthrough first team wise as yet.
Noticeable intent there, John, for me. You know, Zabaleta was quite easily the better pass, you know, a square pass to him, but he played it in behind, so they look like they're trying to turn Wigan just to stretch the game.
Byram on the right tries to turn round the right back of Wigan, but it comes off his shins and it's a throw into West Ham, level with the penalty area of Wigan on the right hand side. Zabaleta, Byram again, who's dispossessed by Nick Powell, who is tall for a player with that amount of quality. And look at that little flick, a little Cruyff flick, no look pass, and away go Wigan down the left hand side with Michael Jacobs. Has to check and turn away from goal near the edge of the penalty area, gets it back to Nick Powell, who looks bang up for it today, steps on the ball, puts it to the left to Callum Elder, challenged by Zabaleta, throw in for Wigan, level with the penalty area on the left.
He's put a statement down already, isn't he, Powell? I'm going to be the best player on the park today. I don't care if it's Premier League opposition. The 3 or 4 touches we've seen so far, it has all the quality of a Premier League player.
Scored for United, didn't he, in the Premier League under Sir Alex Ferguson. I spoke to Dario Gradi about Nick Powell actually not long ago, and he said if he'd known Sir Alex was going to go, he would have sent him to Arsenal under Arsene Wenger, because he went at the end of his first season, Nick Powell. And West Ham are tussling for possession on the halfway line against big Shea Dunkley, 6'7" Shea Dunkley. He was a Crewe youth player as well, and went into the non-league.
You're looking at the physical presence of the front two, Martinez and Chicharita, and you wouldn't imagine they would get much change out the two centre-halves.
Wigan with a cross from the left, Will Grigg, goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup. It looks like they're going to do it again. Their first real effort at goal in the game, and a far post header had heart flapping, and West Ham are stunned. There's a shock on the cards in the 4th round. It's Wigan 1, West Ham 0.
John, that stung of the absolute quality that we've been talking about. It was I think it was Max Power that put the ball out wide, and the cross came in, I think, from Nathan Byrne, but what a ball to the back post area, and he still had a lot to do. It was just above his normal height. He jumped, he headed it, he steered it into the top corner and gave Joe Hart no chance whatsoever. Great goal.
Now we've got one of the best football songs around at the moment. Will Grigg's on fire, rings around the DW Stadium. Great header, Hart got a hand to it, but only enough to turn it into the top corner as Hernandez, with a nice piece of skill, feeds Martinez, and West Ham in possession on the left. Low cross, took a deflection, did it? No, just sliced, and it's a goal kick for Wigan.
I was reading in the newspaper this morning about Will Grigg, and he was talking about how much this song was actually a weight on his shoulders every time he plays. It didn't look like a weight on his shoulders there, did it? It was a fantastic finish. He still had a lot to do when the cross came in, but what a great finish.
Got a bizarre story about Will Grigg. My best mate in school is his cousin.
Yeah.
And we went to visit them in Solihull, which is where he grew up. All his family are big Villa fans. We went to watch Villa versus Sheffield United, 1991. And I held Will Grigg as a 3-month-old baby in my arms. And I met him after the AFC Fylde game, and I told him this story, and he said, I've never had an interview start like that before.
Yeah. That's that magical touch you got, Jonathan.
If you do want me to hold your son or daughter in case they make it into a footballer, I am available for hire. He said he can't remember it.
No, he wouldn't.
Wigan 1-0 up on 5 Live Sports Extra from the BBC.
I made reference to the first game, you know, in Shrewsbury, about the quality of the backroom staff that Davy Moyes has got. I'm telling you, at this moment in time, this will be hard work. They all know what the benefits of a cup run are. They all know what it's like to come to places like Wigan. You know, your Stuart Pearces, your Alan Irvins, people like that are going to have to get after the players. And I'm not talking about half time, I'm talking about now.
Wigan attacking again, this time with a high ball, but West Ham come up with a possession. They've given it away though. 3 Wigan players on the right hand side, and they do get hold of it. Will Grigg's the only man in the box at the moment. Then midway inside the West Ham half on the right, there's 4 Wigan players very close to each other, and the Olays are going around. 9 minutes gone. Wigan leading through that Will Grigg goal, his 13th goal of the season and his 5th in the FA Cup. In fact, they had him to thank against Fylde in that replay in the second round. He came on as a sub and ended up getting them through.
Yeah. The confidence is oozing out these Wigan players. You can tell the kind of run they're on in the league, and you can tell the performance against Bournemouth has took them to the next level. They're oozing confidence and belief.
And they've got a free kick 15 yards inside the West Ham half on the right hand side, and they've thrown everyone forward. Christian Walton is the only player, the Wigan goalkeeper, all in green, inside the Wigan half. West Ham with everyone back. In comes the right-footed cross, flicked header, surely goal! It's 2-0 Wigan, the flag's up. The flag's gone up on the far side. We haven't got any replay screens, but we'll have to take his word for it.
I think it's the first ball in, you know, it was a great ball in, great delivery, and it's a touch by the first player that's put the lad offside. I think it was Dunkley offside, wasn't it, who scored the goal? I think it was possibly Shea Dunkley got the second touch, but it's the first touch that put him offside.
Well, what a game we've got on our hands here as West Ham are in possession on the right. Cross goes in from Martinez towards Hernandez, and West Ham have got to be careful here because Wigan can smell blood. Grigg up against Ogbonna. Grigg loses possession and West Ham have got it on the left. They have looked decent going forward so far, West Ham. For the goal, the cross came in a little bit too easily from a West Ham perspective, didn't it? Grigg was there, right time, right place. Any fault of Joe Hart, or has he got his header bang on?
No, I think he's got his header bang on. He's put it into the top corner. I think Joe Hart was probably expecting a striker of Will Grigg's ability to head the ball down. All good strikers head the ball down and take the goalkeeper out, but he's actually took it out with a guided header into the top corner. It's a fabulous finish. They're squeezing the living daylights out of West Ham. This is not going to be an easy day for them.
They've made a really fast start of Wigan here, and as Phil mentioned, playing that high press as well. To throw in for West Ham on the halfway line on the left hand side. Wigan 1, West Ham 0. Just the day after Dave Whelan's decided he's going to sell Wigan Athletic, the owner and former chairman, to a Hong Kong consortium. Bit of an end of an era. He's really one of the last links between them winning the FA Cup in 2013 and this team that we have here today.
Who knows, he sees a performance today, he might want to keep it.
He will. It's a fantastic statue outside of him holding the FA Cup aloft, isn't it?
And deservedly so as well. He's put his life and soul into Wigan Athletic Football Club. It's been fantastic, great story. 4th tier when he took over, and I know they're in the 3rd tier now, but what a story, what a journey in between he's had here. It's almost like a Jack Walker at Blackburn. It's, you know, and Blackburn, strangely enough, on the other side that's vying for the title in the First Division, along with Shrewsbury, of course. But I do fear that Shrewsbury might just drop out of the top 2 because of the powerhouse of Blackburn and Wigan at this moment in time.
Earlier, Leicester won at Peterborough 5-1. Very professional job they did there. And it's a free kick for Wigan deep in their own half, which their goalkeeper Walton will take left-footed. Slings it high over halfway. Wigan win the second ball. Now the attack down the left-hand side. The League One team leading 1-0. Morsey, Egypt international, former Port Vale player, brings it forward. Now Powell, they haven't got it to him in a while. What's he going to do with it? Got 3 men around him. Tries a little ball round the corner, which Jacobs can't get hold of, and West Ham clear away. High feet from Hernandez. The referee says yes, it was. He kicked Byrne, who's the 6'7" defender. It's a job to get his foot that high, to be honest. Dan Byrne's 6'7".
I think this is where Davy Moyes will be demanding the likes of Chicharita, the bigger name players out there, to step up to the plate, and not in that manner, you know, kicking Byrne by his head. It's his close control and his goals that they want.
Well, David Moyes hasn't had a very good time in the FA Cup, and in fact Wigan beat Everton with Moyes as manager on the way to winning it in 2013. He's only had 1 FA Cup win since then, David Moyes. Nick Powell in possession for Wigan, 10 yards inside the West Ham half.
He's on it today, isn't he? He's
turns away from his man and plays a square ball to Morsey. And now Elder in the left back position, but attacking with Zabaleta with him for company. In comes the cross, and it's comfortable for Hart. He kind of took it in front of his face at the second time of asking, and he has possession of the ball. All in fluorescent yellow today, Joe Hart.
Very comfortable, aren't they, Wigan? They don't look as if they're playing against Premier League opposition. They're taking the game to the opposition like they have done all season at home. And you'd expect them to do it again today, and they're doing exactly that. Only 15 minutes into the game, and they're comfortable 1-0 up.
Martinez in possession. Zabaleta now, level with the penalty area of Wigan on the right-hand side. And again, snapping in are Wigan as a challenge on Josh Cullen comes in. And they don't even get the throw-in for Wigan, and Zabaleta bounces the ball down in frustration into the turf. The former Manchester City man who in fact was sent off in that final in 2013 for Manchester City against Wigan, when Ben Watson scored the winner. Been an interesting little debate on the way in the lead up to this game about whether Wigan would still rather be in the Premier League or have won that one FA Cup, because I think David Moyes suggested they might swap it to have still been in the Premier League, and Wigan and Paul Cook said actually we'd rather have the FA Cup.
Well, it is an interesting debate, because Paul Cook might have said that, but you're talking about the owner. If you had 5 years from that moment and still in the Premier League, you're talking about probably 400-500 million.
Yeah.
So maybe the club wouldn't be up for sale.
Yeah. And the fans will say, when are we ever going to get the chance to win a major trophy ever again? And we might still get back there. Nice step over from Grigg. They've got it in the penalty area with Jacobs here, Wigan. And now Powell on his left foot over the crossbar. Got a good connection on it. I think Hart maybe had it covered, but it's a goal kick for West Ham. Wigan dangerous again.
This guy's unplayable today at this moment in time. We only, just over 16 minutes on the clock, and he's absolutely a thorn in the side of West Ham, both with and without the ball. I tell you what, he does great for Wigan. He drops into that little pocket of space on the back of Cullen and the two sitting midfield players, and then he has to link up with Will Grigg, and he's doing it fabulously well at the moment.
1-0 Wigan as the goal kick is aimed flat from Hart, and Morsey wins what looked like a painful header. So it was going like a bullet, scrapping for it in midfield on the halfway line, and West Ham win the throw right in front of David Moyes in his long coat, his trainers and tracksuit bottoms. Paul Cook in a gilet, again tracksuit bottoms on again. And the ball's played forward for Martinez, but that's a good foot in there from Dan Burn. And now Morsey will have it 10 yards inside his own half, and he'll play a long ball forward for Jacobs. It's overhit, West Ham throw.
Applause from Paul Cook there, playing two ways, aren't they? They either play it through the Powells and the Powers of this world, or they put it in behind for Will Grigg, and that's what they're doing. They're varying their game, and that's why Paul Cook was applauding. But I noticed Zabaleta, when he picked the ball up for the last throw-in, Davy Moyes whispered something into his ear, and I think they're going to try and play a 1-on-1 up top, with Martinez and Chicharito.
Millwall are leading the FA Cup 1-0 against Rochdale. And this is an interesting one for you. Southend are trailing 1-0 at home to Scunthorpe. 19 minutes gone.
Keep me informed, John.
My team are 1-0 up at Oldham. Plymouth Argyle. Plymouth Argyle went 1-0 up against Wigan last week, in fact, after they'd kept 7 clean sheets in a row, Wigan Athletic. Apparently, Plymouth did all right, but Wigan have been just scoring goals for fun. They've got so many goals all over the team, I think, and such a settled back line that they just fancy themselves against anyone at the moment, and who can blame them? They're 1-0 up against West Ham with Jacobs attacking down the left-hand side, trying to go around the outside of the defender, gets to the byline. Good challenge comes in though, and a crucial one at that from Rhys Burke, and it's a corner for Wigan Athletic on the left.
If he had just got his head up there, Callum Elder made a fantastic overrun. He made a lovely run on the inside. He just didn't lift his head up. He wanted to try and get the cross in, but they've got another corner. This is more pressure on West Ham.
Corner for Wigan. They've sent Dan Burn forward, 6'7", former Fulham man. Plenty of movement in the penalty area. In it comes, right-footed, looks good delivery. Header away, comes back to the corner taker, and he'll lay it back for the fullback. He's going to swing it in devilishly, left-footed, and Powell gets up high, wins a header, but he got underneath it, and it's a goal kick for West Ham.
At the moment, he's got everything in the lock, hasn't he? He's the size of Powell. He's probably about 6'1", 6'2". Ball come in there, great little ball in from the left-hand side, and he's got on the end of things. Fantastic.
Plymouth 2-0 up now at Oldham. Fleetwood 1-0 up at Gillingham. Doncaster beating Bristol Rovers 1-0, and AFC Wimbledon are 1-0 up at Bradford City. Blackburn losing at home to Northampton will be a bit of a coupon buster if it stays like that this afternoon. And into League 2, Colchester leading 1-0 at Port Vale, Swindon are 1-1 with Crewe, Crawley are 1-0 up against Accrington, and Barnet are leading against Cheltenham 1-0 as West Ham attack down the right. Low ball in, no one there to attack it, bit too close to the keeper, Christian Walton, who falls on the ball and smothers it, and Wigan in possession with 20 minutes gone, and they lead by 1-0 thanks to Will Grigg.
That's probably the first decent ball in, by Josh Cullen. He's got on the right hand side and he's looking for Chicharito to make that near post run, and he's rocking on his heels at the back post. The size of him, he has to make that kind of movement to get anywhere past the size of the two centre halves.
The ball is with Christian Walton, who's going to clear long, left-footed, over the halfway line. Grigg, little nod inside to Powell, little flick in the air from Powell. Just helps the ball back into his own half, but he's got it back from the left-back Elder, and now he's drifting forward down the left. Tries to play a little ball with the outside of his foot to Jacobs, but it's intercepted. A little handball from Morsey. I think the referee will just give the throw to West Ham here, though. Midway inside their own half on the right-hand side. What do West Ham do here? What's David Moyes is chatting with his assistant down there?
I don't think the system's working for him. I know it's a basic 4-4-2, but when you're looking at Sam Byram, he's a fullback that came from Leeds and he's playing right-hand side of midfield. I think they need more from the front too. Martinez is an out-and-out number 9, but he's got Chicharito on the front line and Martinez dropping in. It's not quite working. They just need to do something that's going to change their form, their look, if anything,
Well, Javier Hernandez could have gone at the start of this window, couldn't he? Suggestions they were open to offers for him. Now he's pretty much, I know Martinez is out there at the moment, pretty much their only fit striker. Carroll and Arnautovic both carrying injuries.
I mean, the difference when you think about if Andy Carroll was up front or if Arnautovic was up front, the difference is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Even if Lanzini was on the park,
Just the presence.
Yeah, that little bit of quality that the likes of Powell is providing for Wigan at this moment in time. Antonio
Martinez scored against Swansea in a big shock last year, didn't he, for Oxford United? 3-0 win. Gets his chance for West Ham United today. And this is one of the teams, when you're at South Enfield, you could hope to get the odd player from, I guess.
Well, that's what I was looking at in the last game, and I went to the Olympic Stadium. The downside to it is, and I think there's a couple of players at West Ham at the moment that were on loan to Bolton and have been pulled back for this competition. You're talking about the Rhys Oxfords of this world and Josh Cullens. And I think Phil Parkinson's waiting exactly that, until West Ham out the trophy, and then he can maybe get them back on loan again. But I was looking at Martinez, and I was looking at a couple of young lads that I could take there to give us a better chance in the First Division.
West Ham are in possession, but they're deep in their own half. Clear away left-footed. Obiang got a little knock there, a little kick, and is hopping around on one leg. And it's a free kick to West Ham, midway inside their own half on the left-hand side. Midway through the first half, and Wigan comfortable at 1-0.
Very much so, very much so. You wouldn't know, close your eyes, you wouldn't know who's the two, which one was the Premier League team.
How have you been this week? Is it weird not having to go into training and do all that?
It's strange, John. I've been nearly 40 years in the game. In fact, I'm probably 40 years this year. 18 when I first started, 58 now. Had the odd occasion where I've been out of work.
Long ball forward offside against West Ham. Free kick for Wigan inside their own penalty area.
But that routine of going in day out and working with players and improving players and trying to get a team and tactically towards the end of the week trying to work out the opposition and what you're going to do against them. Of course I miss all that, but a little bit of a rest, talking to you guys for a couple of weeks, a couple of months or whatever, but still coming to games, that's for sure. I went to Bolton, Ipswich last week, Wigan and West Ham this week. I'll go to a game every week, guaranteed.
Oh, you're always welcome here as the long free kick goes high over halfway from Wigan. They're scrapping for the second ball midway inside the half, but Sam Morsey put his arms on the shoulders of the West Ham player there, and it's going to be a free kick to West Ham midway inside their own half.
Josh Cullen will relish that. I think in the last game against Shrewsbury, in the first game, I think he got his two front teeth kicked out. He picked them up and they were going to bring him off, and he said, I'm not coming off. And he's that type of character, he'll relish the battle with Morsey for sure.
He's a Republic of Ireland under-21 international, come through the youth system at West Ham United. He's had loans, hasn't he, in League One, Bolton, Bradford.
Yeah.
And they'll be looking at this, players like him, as a chance to say to David Moyes, I can push, I can play.
It's a difficult one for a Premier League manager to look at his team day in and day out, week in and week out on the training ground. You can't really judge them until they get in games like this. Then all of a sudden, that's what they've got to step up to. A team that's thriving in Division 1 and playing with confidence and playing with the ability that Wigan has shown at this moment in time, then that's the test. That's the solid test of his character then.
Cresswell plays the ball forward for West Ham, but it's intercepted by Max Power, and Massey helps it infield to Morsey, who could well play in the World Cup for Egypt this summer. Be some experience for him. Started their final qualifier, Sam Morsey, as Wigan come forward down the right-hand side. Power with a cross towards the penalty area. Didn't quite catch it how he wanted. West Ham have got possession, back to Hart, and Hart drills high over the halfway line, where predictably Dan Burn wins the header against Hernandez. And now Dan Burn wins another header in front of Martinez, back to his own goalkeeper.
Noticeable there, they're not bothered in the slightest to leaving 2v2. The two centre-halves marking the two strikers, both full-backs going at the same time, creating that overload. They expect Morsey to sit in, but invariably he's in front. 2v2 at the back, it's not a problem to the two Wigan centre-halves.
West Ham in possession, lip of the centre circle, with Obiang wearing gloves, to Hernandez also wearing gloves, and it's really not that cold here this afternoon, especially not for Phil Brown. He's northeast born and bred. It's like August weather for up there, really. As West Ham come down the left, low cross is a good one, but it's a really smart interception from Che Dunkley, who puts the ball behind for a West Ham corner.
What I've seen of that Matsuaka, he expect the quality coming into the penalty box, and it did there. And it left Che Dunkley full stretched, giving the corner away. Here's an opportunity for West Ham.
So they've got the corner. Masuaku, by the way, joined in August 2016 for £6 million, which is the kind of quality they've got on show out there on the pitch at the moment, West Ham, with a corner on the left. The ball's just moved in the quadrant.
And the referee's there.
Yeah, bit of pushing and shoving in the penalty area.
He's having a look at Martinez, I think, on the goalkeeper. But it's the two on the edge of the box that caught my eye. They are. They're
having a good push, aren't they? In comes the right-footed corner for West Ham, and in swinger, headed away by Will Grigg, falls to Cresswell, who makes a mess of the half volley, but it's managed to find its way to Obiang, and now back to Cullen. Obiang again. Obiang right-footed cross, charged down well by Jacobs back there defending, and it's a throw-in for West Ham near the corner flag on the left-hand side. He did well there, Grigg, with that defensive header, and it's his header at the other end into the top corner from a deep cross that has given Wigan a 1-0 lead in this game on 5 Live Sports Extra. It's a free kick for Wigan deep in their own half on the right.
Really, 27 minutes on the clock. That's probably the first time they've been in Wigan's penalty box.
Yeah, they haven't offered very much so far, and there will be West Ham fans listening to this thinking 6 changes, really? We're 11th in the league, let's have a go at the FA Cup. That's what they'll be saying.
Yeah, and certainly judging by what's behind that goal to our left hand side, they obviously taking this competition very, very seriously.
Wigan scrapping in midfield for possession, but it's West Ham United of the Premier League that have come up with it. Zabaleta on the halfway line, slides the ball down the right, looking for the run of Martinez, but across comes Dan Burn, connects with it and puts it out for a throw-in to West Ham. Quite well advanced into the Wigan half, and Zabaleta has the chance to slide it here to the right. Good deep cross, headed away. Will it fall here for Cullen? Away by Wigan. Who will win this sprint to the ball? It will be Obiang. And West Ham are in possession in their own half. Up to Zabaleta on halfway. Whips a first-time ball forward, but offside given against Sam Byram, and it's a free kick to Wigan.
There's that admirable pressure I'm talking about. Will Grigg's up front really on his own until Powell gets alongside him and supports him, but up front on his own he's putting the pressure on the two centre-halves, and Zabaleta there under pressure. Quality of his, even that was denied just because of the pressure from the First Division team.
In the Championship, Norwich are leading at Brentford and Wolves are leading at Ipswich Town. Doncaster have equalised against Bristol Rovers. It's 1-1, or Bristol Rovers have equalised against Doncaster, I should say. It's 1-1. Shrewsbury are 1-0 up at Portsmouth. Zabaleta clears deep for West Ham, up towards Hernandez, who's trying to hold the ball up against Dunkley, who was playing for the likes of Hensford and Kidderminster, and now here he is playing against Premier League West Ham. That's how quickly your career can turn around if you get a break and some consistency going. Good tackle from Morsey inside his own half, and he tries to set Grigg away down the left-hand side. He's in a foot race now, trying to keep the ball in play, and wins the throw-in off the feet of Reece Burke, who was at Wigan last season on loan, and it's a throw-in for Wigan.
Typifying the work rate of the First Division team there. As I said, up front on his own, he's chased the ball in behind, in the corner, and he's got Wigan a throw-in. Pressure still on West Ham now.
Morsey switches the play to the right to Massey. It's a good ball. He's got 3 in the middle here, Massey, and it comes Grigg again, header wide. It took a flick off a West Ham defender. It's a corner for Wigan Athletic.
Almost carbon copy of the first goal. I think the first goal came in from Nathan Byrne, but had a lot more whip and a bend. This time he drove it in fairly straight, but didn't realise Will Grigg was that good in the air, and he's proved it again there. He got above the 2 centre-halves.
Just loves being in the box, doesn't he, Will Grigg? Just loves scoring goals.
When we played against Wigan, they had so many in the locker, different types of corners, short, long, they do everything.
And here comes a right-footed in-swinger, it looks like, to the far post, and they're queuing up back there, and I think Powell and Dunkley got in each other's way, and it's dribbled behind for a goal kick.
When you've got that many set pieces in your locker, it causes the opposition consternation. Nobody knows who's to go and pick up and who's going to go to the short one, who come out short, who comes off the post, who takes the hole. There's loads of different questions that we're going to ask in West Ham.
Rochdale have equalised at Millwall, 1-1 in the FA Cup, and Hull, one of Phil's former teams, of course. Hull 1, Nottingham Forest 0 in the FA Cup, and Huddersfield are 1-0 up against Birmingham City, also FA Cup 4th round. You're up to date, 5 Live Sports Extra from the BBC, and if you want to hear commentary of the Notts County versus Swansea game, it's over on 5 Live right now, as Wigan have a throw-in deep in their own half on the left-hand side, and there's a bit of an argument going on here with the 4th official and the West Ham management team.
Little off-the-ball incident, I think. The 3 from the touchline. Billy McKinley's off the bench. David Moyes and Stuart Pearce all seen it and witnessed it. 4th official didn't.
Throwing down the line from Wigan. Good header one in midfield there by Little Cullen, who's brave and tenacious. Obiang trying to get a toe in. Oh, it's a thumping challenge from Max Power, and I'm afraid to say that Obiang has really hurt himself here. He's clutching his knee. I'd be very surprised from that reaction, waving his left hand in the air straight away to say, I'm injured. I'll be surprised if he continues here. I hope this isn't as bad as his reaction suggests.
That was a real solid challenge from Max Power, and it wasn't a First Division against a Premier League team. It was just a good solid challenge. He got the ball cleanly, and it possibly was his follow-through leg that actually caught Obiang.
Let's keep our fingers crossed he's okay here, Obiang, who's down receiving treatment right now. The former Spanish under-21 international, signed from Sampdoria in 2015. And he's got 2 men, physio and the doctor, with him right now of West Ham.
This is significant. I think one of the seniors getting injured. If he comes off the field of play, I'm looking who replaces him. You got Queener, that's, you know, I've seen him in the 23s a few times. He can go into centre midfield, but you're looking for stature of play, aren't you, against Wigan when you're 1-0 down, FA Cup, 33 minutes on the clock. If this lad doesn't get back up, that's another senior pro gone down.
Of course, they signed João Mario from Inter on loan a couple of days ago, and he's gone straight into the squad. He's on the bench for West Ham. Their bench in full is Adrian, João Mario, James Collins, Syed Haksabanovic, Reece Oxford, Queener, as Phil was saying, and Grady Diangana. And the stretcher is being called for. It is as bad as we thought it was. He's in a lot of pain down there.
Never a pretty sight, that is.
No.
It's never a nice sight when a stretcher comes on, but the initial sign to the bench was that he wasn't going to be ready to play on, and he's certainly not now.
You can see a West Ham player stripping off down there. He's got his training top on. He's just taken it off. So they're going to bring on, is it Haksabanovic?
I think possibly. I'm glad you said that, Jonathan, not me.
Haksabanovic. Said Haksabanovic. Who's tall and rangy. I don't know a lot about him, I'm going to be honest. And he's still being strapped into the stretcher here. Here's Obiang. Earlier Leicester beat Peterborough 5-1. Southampton still 1-0 up against Watford. Barnsley have taken the lead against Fulham. Bit of a surprise. Fulham won in their last game 6-0. Wolves still 1-0 up at Ipswich. And the round of applause is from all sides of the ground. Wigan supporters stand along with the West Ham fans to my left as Obiang is stretchered from the field. His hands covering his face. Looks like a knee problem. Doesn't look good for him. It's Oxford, actually. It's Reece Oxford.
Yeah.
So thankfully, we don't have to say Haksabanovic.
Yep.
Quite yet.
This so can play anyway.
Like for like, he's gone into that central midfield area by the looks of it, Phil.
Yeah. No, it's never easy, but they've got a very young midfield now, haven't they? Reece Oxford and Josh.
He's a centre back. Does he play centre back as well?
He does. That's what I was thinking. You know, would they put him on or put the natural midfield player would be Quina for me.
So Oxford wins a header in midfield, but it's a free kick, little push for Wigan Athletic, 10 yards inside their own half. So Obiang off, Oxford on, Wigan lead 1-0, and we've got 9 minutes plus a certain amount of stoppage time, I would have thought now, a good few minutes until half-time. But Wigan will be more than pleased, and David Moyes will be worried that they really haven't created anything, West Ham.
No. It's a very young-looking West Ham now, isn't it? When you look at the two central midfield players, Sam Byron playing on the right-hand side, young centre-half, young strike force.
West Ham clear away after Grigg won a header on the far side. Morsey's picked up possession inside the West Ham half centre field. Now they've got it to Powell. He's not really touched the ball for the last 10 minutes, Nick Powell. Wanted to carry on with it. Morsey took it off him, the captain, and he's worked it out to Jacobs on the left-hand side for Wigan. They're still in possession here, Wigan. Morsey makes a little run forward, squares the ball. Powell gets it, centre field. Nice ball to Massey on the right. First time volleyed cross, cleared away by West Ham. I think he might have, in hindsight, been better off taking a touch there, Massey. But Wigan have won the ball back, and they've done this all half. They're outworking West Ham at the moment, and you have to say, their quality's a little bit better too.
Yeah, outworking, outplaying, you name it. They're on top of this game very, very comfortably.
Powell, nice little ball to Byrne. In comes the cross, takes a deflection. Corner for Wigan.
It's one-way traffic at the moment, and obviously I'm never advocating the tackle and somebody getting carried off on a stretcher, but they even put markers down physically, you know. So the whole game is one-way traffic at this moment in time. I think we've only seen West Ham at the right-hand side of the pitch for a brief 5-minute spell, if that.
Stuart Pearce is looking pensive on the edge of the technical area down there, part of the West Ham management team, as Wigan have this corner on the far side. It's going to be a right-footed away swinger by the looks of it. Plenty of big guys in there. In it comes. It's it falling in the penalty area, but hacked away by West Ham, and I do mean hacked. And Nathan Byrne plays the ball out to the right-hand side for Jacobs. Can he get a cross in? In fact, it's power. Byrne, cross. Too easy for Jacobs in the middle. Cleared away by West Ham, but Wigan should have done better there. They had time and space on the edge of the penalty area, and they have a throw deep in their own half on the left.
I can't see any way out at the moment. I can't see any way out. I don't know what Davey's going to say at half-time, but he's looking at a team that's very, very young. Probably even a change of formation, I don't think that would work. The front two are the front two, end of story. You know, Chicharito, can he play the 10 role? Can he play the one dropped in? He wants to be on the shoulder and getting behind, and he's not doing that.
Hull 2-0 up against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup. Two championship teams going up against each other. And Notts County are holding Swansea at the moment in our commentary over on 5 Live. It's 0-0 there. Here it's 1-0 for Wigan. And if you just turned up and you didn't know who either of these teams were, you would say that Wigan were the Premier League team at the moment. And they release Massey down the right. Is he going to get the better of the defender here? He's tussling with Ogbonna, who does manage to clear in the end, and then Wigan win it back again. Well played by Che Dunkley back there, and they're just passing around. One-touch football in the middle at the moment. In the centre circle, Powell drifts forward. Little ball into the feet of Grigg, who gives it back to Jacobs, who moves forward a few yards, then gives it back to Powell. Another little flicked behind the leg pass from Powell gets the cheer of the crowd. Jacobs and Morsey, West Ham sticking to their task. Into the feet of Jacobs, tries to turn around the outside. Ball put into touch, and it's a throw in for Wigan, and take it quickly. On the left, it's with Elder, and now Jacobs, can he get there? Another challenge goes in. Is that a corner? Looked like a corner to me, yeah. Corner for Wigan again.
There's a belief, there's almost an arrogance about Wigan at the moment. I know they're top of the league and it comes from that, but it's personified by the lad Powell. He's absolutely running the show. We said after 5 minutes he's man of the match already, and 40 minutes he's not disappointing.
Corner for Wigan then, on the left, and they have looked dangerous from these. There's a shoelace in the middle at the moment. It's Nick Powell. He's just doing his lace. Wigan leading 1-0 on 5 Live Sports Extra. In comes the right-footed corner to the far post. Header down, won by a Wigan player. They're winning pretty much every header in the penalty area at present. It's cleared away by West Ham, and can they get a break on here? There's two bodies tumble to the deck. Hernandez thought he should have had a free kick for West Ham, but Wigan come up with possession on the right-hand side, midway inside the West Ham half. They're scrapping for it. Burns brought down. That's a free kick. Sloppy from West Ham, who look in disarray at the moment.
Hernandez has got to do better there. He's got to do better. He's carrying the ball out of the heart of the defence. They've been under the cosh for 40 minutes. He's got to take the ball into the opposition's half with some kind of quality and falling down like you did there. I mean, the West Ham fans are not going to put up with that.
Well, the West Ham fans, who most of them standing away to our left, will be in a bit of disbelief about what they've seen in this first half. They've seen their team totally outplayed and trailing. West Ham haven't had a single shot off target or on target. Wigan have had 3, 2 off target, 1 on target, and they have a free kick on the right with another chance to put West Ham under pressure. In it comes, headed away by West Ham. Only partially. Wigan have picked up possession again with Elder. There are still big men in the box if he can drift it into that far post. Byrne is there, but he can't get there in front of Ogbonna, who heads clear for West Ham United. And now they might break, and that little roar you heard in the background is the West Ham supporters. Bringing it over halfway now is Masuaku, but it's a good challenge from Nathan Byrne. He can't keep it in. Throw in for West Ham.
They need more from the players. You know, the quality of Matsuaka in the Premier League, it's outstanding. He's been one of the finds of the season, and yet when he comes up against Shrewsbury in the last round, and now today against Wigan, they're not shining, they're not getting on the ball, they're not showing the kind of skills that you're used to seeing in the Premier League.
59% possession, Wigan. League One, 59% possession. West Ham with a cross, comes off the legs of a defender. They do get a corner, their second of the game.
This is possibly the only way out. It doesn't look as if they're going to play through Wigan. If they get the odd corner or set piece, that's the only way you can see West Ham getting back into the game. And at 1-0, the game's always tight.
So, corner then for West Ham United, with 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining at the end of the first half, trailing 1-0. Again, pushing and shoving. And it's the battle that Phil Brown spotted about 10 minutes ago on the edge of the box. It's that whole Ogbonna and Dunkley, is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. And when you've got 2 centre-halves outside the penalty box, there's a danger here. Ogbonna gets a run on him. If he falls to the ground or whatever, he gets a run on him, free header. He's bringing it to the attention of the referee.
Ogbonna's sort of pushing him in the chest, bit of shirt pulling. In comes the corner for West Ham. Keeper flaps at it and cleared away again by Will Grigg. But that was about as close as West Ham have come to doing anything in terms of threatening the Wigan goal. They have a throw in on the right.
I had Christian Walton on loan from Brighton at Southend last year. He's a monster. He's 6'5", and he must be getting impeded to stop him from coming for that.
Cross comes in, I should say, for West Ham, but it's not the best. He didn't get a good connection on it there, did Sam Byram, and away come Wigan over halfway with Will Grigg, the goal scorer, as they lead 1-0. Now into the feet of Massey, nice turn, and into Morsey, centre circle, puts the ball to the left to Jacobs, and he's got a man on the outside of him here, Elder, but goes inside to Mick Powell, who's going to strike one. He just didn't get it, didn't get hold of it. Apologises to Sam Morsey. He can strike them, really can strike them, Nick Powell, and has got that sort of Ronaldo stun dipping shot.
I think it was Massey got in the way of it, one of his own players, I think.
Yeah, just hit his back, didn't it?
Yeah. But there he is again, just receiving the ball from a centre half. He's on the ball. He's been a thorn in the side of West Ham.
Long ball forward from Wigan, and it's fallen here for Jacobs, who strikes it, and Hart has to make the save. Low down to his right, bounced just in front of him as well, gathered it cleanly.
John, that's the other side of Wigan. You know, if they can't play through midfield, they'll hit the front man, and it wasn't Grigg this time. They hit the front man, lay it off, and they get a strike on goal. Two sides to the coin: play through midfield or hit the front man.
So we've got 4 minutes of stoppage time then at the end of the first half. 4 minutes because of that injury that didn't look too pleasant, in all honesty, for Pedro Obiang of West Ham United, who was stretchered off, screamed as he was challenged by Max Power, fair challenge, grabbed his knee straight away. You knew something was up, and you just hope that is one of the less important ligaments maybe in the knee. I know they're all important, but you just don't want it to be that ACL. Cleared away by Wigan up towards halfway, and it's out for a West Ham throw near the halfway line.
I'm watching Chicharito there. Joe Hart's picked the pass out to Matsuaka, 70, 80 yards. He pulls it out the sky with the Premier League quality that you expect. And it's laid back to a centre half, and all you're asking Chicharito for is a little bit of movement. He's come short the whole of the first half and not stretched Wigan at all.
He's offside here, Martinez, way offside, and that's just concentration. He's standing 3 yards offside. Wigan had jumped up. These two are really used to playing with each other, Byrne and Dunkley. 2 goals conceded in 10 league games.
Yeah.
They've jumped up, and West Ham haven't responded. There's a little bit of inexperience, maybe.
It's going to be a tough half-time team talk.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't want to be in there.
Well, I know the characters, and, you know, you're looking at sparks flying for sure. You would expect it, but, again, is it a difficult one for to start? Not throwing punches, but you know what I'm saying, getting amongst people when you've got such a young side out there in the second half. But you're expecting your senior pros to step up to the plate, including Chicharito.
Walton with the ball downfield, and it's missed. And now here's Powell, edge of the box. Powell on his right foot, puts in a strike. Comes off the shins of a defender. Morsey wanted it square. I think Powell's right to take it on.
Yeah, very much so. He actually used the run of Morsey, but he doesn't quite often get in the penalty box, but he's used the run, gone onto his stronger foot, and they've got to block him.
It's a throw-in for Wigan, level with the penalty spot of West Ham on the right-hand side. Massey gets a toe in first. Max Power whips it in, great cross. Hart's alive to it. Will Grigg was waiting, but Hart claimed it solidly into his chest.
So one thing West Ham probably haven't expected is when you come to a first division, second division, championship club, they get the ball in the box as early as they possibly can, as opposed to Premier, you tend to probe and pass it through teams. It goes wide for Wigan, it's coming in. And sometimes only Grigg in the penalty box, but I tell you, living on the shoulder of the centre half, he still gets his head on the ball.
Swansea have taken the lead at Notts County over on 5 Live. It's Notts County 0, Swansea 1. Here, the League One team are doing the business, and how. West Ham without a single shot in the first half. Just a minute or so of stoppage time remaining at the end of the first half. Long ball from West Ham this time, and they have won the header through Byram. Helps it on towards Martinez, who's done really well. He's got possession at the byline. Can they equalise here? There's a mistake. Hernandez, maybe now. Cullen, it falls for Oxford over the bar. First efforts at goal from West Ham. It's a goal kick for Wigan.
That's the first mistake we've seen from, it wasn't Dunkley, I think it was Dan Byrne, went to ground, and Martinez got round the back, got to the byline, picked the pass out. It wasn't the greatest of crosses, but it caused a little bit of consternation in the penalty box. They've had 2 or 3 pops at goal, and all of a sudden they're getting a little bit of a sniff for the second half. That's all I can suggest.
Goal kick for Wigan. One of those should have hit the target, and there's the half-time whistle. Apart from that little flurry right at the end of the half, it was all Wigan. Wigan 1, West Ham 0. Sum that up for us, Phil.
Well, John, we said a couple of times you can close your eyes, open them up, you wouldn't know who the Premier League team is. For me, for sure, the blue and whites of Wigan Athletic, without a shadow of a doubt, have caused more problems for the Premier League side than meets the eye. They've closed down from the front. They've played football through the team. When it wasn't on to play football, they hit the front man. Will Griggs been a threat in the penalty box. The quality of the crosses come in. Everything you'd expect from a Premier League team, Wigan are doing. Everything you wouldn't expect from a Premier League team, West Ham are doing. They've got their work cut out at half-time. I know it's an experienced backroom staff that Davy Moyes has got, but he really has got his work cut out to try and get something from this game.
Phil Brown, part of our commentary team here. Do we have the upset of the round right here at the DW Stadium, live, uninterrupted? Second half commentary on the way for you here on 5 Live Sports Extra with the half-time score. Wigan Athletic 1, West Ham United 0.
Get more from BBC 5 Live with 5 Live Podcasts.
More news.
Welcome to the latest edition of Eye of the Storm.
Good day, Brexit casters.
Welcome to Headliners.
More sport. You can now download the new Bespoke Weekly podcast.
That's us, the EuroLeague's football podcast.
Thanks for downloading At Home with Colin Murray.
I missed the green right. 9-9 went in the hazard. I've never been so angry on a golf course in my life.
More 5 Live.
Really excited to start being a boss in the gym. #fit and fearless.
Yes,
that is what it's all about.
Kermit and Mayer's Film Review. Award-winning podcast.
Search 5 Live in your podcast app.
You might have seen through my cunning trap.
Get more from BBC 5 Live.
So 1-0 Wigan here at half-time. We have had a game last night. We've had an early kick-off in the Premier League as well. And Steve Crossman will talk you through the FA Cup action so far.
Thanks, John. Go get yourself a cup of tea. Leicester City have joined Manchester United in Sheffield Wednesday in the 5th round of the FA Cup after beating Peterborough 5-1. Danny Mills and Conor McNamara were watching at London Road.
Well, Danny Mills, there was no bit of FA Cup magic here, no romance for League One Peterborough, but they did give their everything. It was not that they didn't perform, it was just that Leicester City were very good.
Leicester were absolutely magnificent. From the very first minute, they matched Peterborough for aggression. Their attitude was spot on. They were high tempo, closed down Peterborough. Diabate was magnificent. An incredible finish in the first 10 minutes of the game. Toe poke into the far corner. He was exceptional all afternoon, as were Leicester's front three. They got the ball, they ran at people, they made things happen. Leicester always in control of this game. It was wrapped up by half time. Peterborough did get themselves back into it very, very briefly, but Leicester ran out easy victors in the end.
The team, it was an experienced defence for Leicester, but a rather more experimental attack. Fousseni Diabate is going to get a lot of headlines. His debut, he scores 2 goals. He's 22 years of age. They've got him from the French 2nd division, and he looks very good. And they've got a few players from that part of the world in the past that many of us won't have heard of and went on to do very well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's bright. I described as Marcus Rashford, a younger, only slightly younger version, or is he older?
Older.
Yeah, slightly older version. But he's in that mould. Gets the ball, runs at people, wants to dribble. We don't see that enough. You know, especially in English football at the moment. He was exciting, he's got pace, he can score goals. Ian Acho did very, very well as well. Damari Gray, you know, all those front players look very, very bright and very, very promising for Leicester.
And just a word on Claude Puel. You know, there was many eyebrows when he was given the job to take over from Craig Shakespeare back in October. At that stage, Leicester were at the wrong end of the table, looked to be in a relegation fight. They're now 7th and they're into the 5th round of the FA Cup. He's done a marvellous job that he's probably not getting enough credit for.
I think he's done an awful lot better than people expected him to. He was very, very defensive at Southampton, or that was the message that we got coming from Southampton fans. Obviously coming to Leicester, and he's using that attacking ability that they've got. I think he's done an incredible job to get them up to 7th in the table, as you said. They're playing good football. You know, they're very good on the counter-attack. Today they dominated possession, but still look very, very good.
Well, in the last round, Leicester needed a replay to beat Fleetwood. They weren't taking any chances. You could tell they didn't want the replay here. They've got it done on the day, and in impressive style. It's finished Peterborough United 1, Leicester City 5.
And after the match, the Leicester manager Claude Puel spoke to Simon Brotherton.
Claude, safely through to the 5th round of the Cup. Job well done today.
Yeah, good game against a good opponent, quality. They tried to play a good football, but it was important for us to start in the game with the good attitude and the good concentration. It was interesting, and on the positive attitude, on the duels, on the quality in our football, and with 3 fantastic goals at the beginning of the game, and After, of course, it was easier for us to find a good space and to continue this good work.
3 goals in the first half an hour of the match, and no opportunity for the League One side to feel that they had a chance in the match today. You quietened the crowd very quickly.
Yeah, we know it's always a tough game to play away against these teams, and it's important to make a good start and without leaving them to believe in their chance. Of course, it was important and it was perfect to continue this work, and I'm happy because we tried to put in place a mixed team with experienced player and young player, and together they played very, very well.
And including one player who hardly knows his teammates yet, Fousseni Diabate. Big week for him, but what an impressive debut.
Yeah, no one perhaps know him, but I think it was a good player in second division with quality, good attributes, I think, for the future in Premier League and for Leicester. And we buy him, and it's a good game for him, good game, and he showed a lot of quality. Now it's important he continues his hard work on the pitch and he continue to make progress. But I think of this young player like Ray, Niacho, Diabate, Barnes, for good young player for the future for Leicester.
Iheanacho scoring 2 more goals today. He's knocking on the door, trying to get in the team. Is he giving you something to think about?
I said 1 month ago I will try to give him more game time to put a good balance on the team, because we have a lot of striker. It was important to watch him in games and to give him some opportunity. It's a good thing, but I think since the beginning he improved on his attitude on the training session with hard work on the pitch. And with good quality, is available always between the line, and after we know his left foot and right foot also. He scored a fantastic goal with his right foot. Yeah, it's good, interesting, and I'm happy for him because without game time at the beginning, he continued to work and keeping the good, always a positive attitude, and this is important for a young player.
There's 2 more commentaries still to come over on 5 Live today. Liverpool take on West Brom at 7:45. Before that, League Two's Newport County welcome Tottenham to Rodney Parade. That's at 5:30. Newport manager Michael Flynn has been speaking to Adrian Chiles.
It's not long ago that's the Newport County were sort of on the brink, looking right into the abyss as a club, as an entity, which makes things extra special.
Yeah, look, when I took over last season, we were dead and buried, and even my wife said I must be mad to take the job. She didn't want my first job to be a relegation or a sacking, but I don't know. I just had this belief that we could do something, and just needed to get to the final day, and thankfully it paid off because. Look how he's turned the club around now, and who would have thought we'd be playing Tottenham Hotspur in the 4th round of the FA Cup and being the point off the playoffs. So it's a massive turnaround, and I've got to thank the players for that.
I was just thinking about the cup's different now, because right the way down the leagues, the pitches are all reasonably good. I mean, what's your pitch like? Can you dig it up? Can you dig it up a little bit just to distress the visitors?
No, our pitches, we had a brand new Deso pitch in the summer, so it is of a very high quality. The only problem with us, we got 2 rugby teams playing on it as well, so it is a little bit bobblier than it should be. But, I'm hoping that helps us on the weekend and hinders Spurs a little bit, because we're going to need a little bit of luck, and, we're going to need them to have an off day. But I'm sure you followed enough football games. That can happen in the FA Cup on a one-off, and I'm hoping it does tomorrow.
What about the dressing rooms? Are they suitably sparse? Can you turn off the hot water? Indeed, turn off all the water. Why not?
You can do that, but I wouldn't do that. I want to show Spurs respect. I'm not into all the psychological games. I think that we need to look after our own selves and concentrate on us, and what will be. I don't want to, rile them up before they start, because it's going to be tough enough anyway. And that's somebody else. Somebody else can roll them up, but let's just get in amongst them on the pitch, and then that's where it all begins.
And what's your game plan, without giving too much away? Because I don't know whether you're familiar with the work of a famous son of Newport by the name of Tony Poulis. Now I know what he'd do here. Then you'd be setting off two banks of 5 at the back, I would have thought, at least. So what are you gonna defend and try and win the game without the ball?
No, we're not going to do that. We're going to play our normal game. We're going to, get in amongst them and, make it uncomfortable for them. I think if we sit off and invite the pressure on them, there's only going to be one winner, and that would be Spurs. So we've got to do what we're good at, get in amongst them, and hopefully force them into a few mistakes and not make many ourselves.
So that's Newport County against Tottenham from 5:30, Liverpool against West Brom at 7:45. You can hear both of those games on 5 Live, and if you miss anything, Match of the Day will bring you highlights on BBC One. That's from 10:30.
Thank you very much indeed, Steve. Sprinklers on here. Wigan leading West Ham by 1-0. So this is the shock of the round at the moment. Watching the game, it doesn't feel like one. Very, very strange, because Wigan have been so dominant in the game, Phil Brown. What do you think Paul Cook will be saying to his Wigan team at half-time?
The way he approached the game beforehand, I was listening to the way Paul was talking, and he was very, very confident that this wasn't going to be an upset. West Ham would come and they would have a weakened side because of the Premier League boys have got, other priorities, which is obviously survival in the Premier League. But as far as I'm concerned, they've approached it on the front foot, and they just need to remain on the front foot. The only little glimpse of something that was seen from West Ham was when I think it was Dan Burn made a mistake, and that's what, as long as it stays 1-0, West Ham will have a foothold in the game, there's no doubt about it, because of that scoreline. But somebody makes a mistake like that, they've got to the byline, you'd still expect that little bit of quality, and it would end up in the back of the net, but they didn't. They put their bodies on the line, which they have done for 45 minutes, and that's what Cookie will be expecting. In the second half, more of that, more quality, more bodies on the line, ends up with the result.
Huddersfield are beating Birmingham at the moment by 1-0. Hull City are 2-0 up against Nottingham Forest. Middlesbrough and Brighton are 0-0. Millwall 1, Rochdale 1. MK Dons are 0-0 with League 2 Coventry City. Notts County trailing 1-0 to Swansea over on 5 Live. Sheffield United 0-0 with Preston. Southampton are 0-0 up against Watford, and Wigan leading 1-0 here. Later on 5 Live, Newport County versus Tottenham Hotspur, looking forward to that, and Liverpool versus West Bromwich Albion for you to enjoy too. That's at 7:45. In the Championship, Barnsley beating Fulham 1-0. Norwich are 1-0 up at Brentford. Bristol City beating QPR 1-0 at home. Wolves 1-0 up at Ipswich Town. In League 1, AFC Wimbledon 1-0 up at Bradford. 1-1 between Doncaster Rovers and Bristol Rovers. Fleetwood leading 1-0 at Gillingham. Plymouth Argyle 2-0 up at Oldham. Shrewsbury leading 1-0 at Portsmouth. Southend 1, Scunthorpe 1. Blackburn 0, Northampton 1. And in League 2, Carlisle 1, Forest Green 0. Barnet leading 1-0 at Cheltenham. Chesterfield and Stevenage 0-0. Crawley beating Accrington 2-0. Grimsby 0, Luton 0. Morecambe 1, Mansfield 0. Port Vale 1, Colchester 2, and Swindon 1, Crewe Alex 2. Wigan are out there for the second half already. No sign of West Ham yet. We'll have live second half commentary for you next.
5 Live's Rugby Union Weekly.
You bake some cookies and you talk about rugby, mate. How hard can it be?
Can you just repeat after me? I'm Anthony Watson.
I'm Anthony Watson.
And when I'm not scoring tries for England.
And when I'm not scoring tries for England.
And the Lions.
And the Lions.
I listen to the Rugby Union Weekly podcast.
I listen to the Rugby Union Weekly podcast.
Eddie Jones is with us. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks, mate. How are you?
5 Live's Rugby Union Weekly.
Download it.
Subscribe, search for Rugby Union Weekly online or in your podcast app.
Well, here we go then. Welcome to English football. João Mario of Inter Milan, on loan at West Ham, only signed in the last couple of days at Porto before that, and here he is coming on for his debut for West Ham United at half-time, replacing Pablo Zabaleta. What do you make of that, Phil Brown?
Well, I think Sam Byron's going to drop into the back four now, go into his natural position at right back. And we're looking like the new boy Mario is going to play right-hand side of midfield, a midfield four. You would expect the quality to come in from the two wide players now. Matsuaka on the left-hand side and Mario on the right-hand side. So it's a positive move by Davy Moyes.
He's picked up the number 18 shirt, and we're underway for the second half here at the DW Stadium, with Wigan leading by a goal to nil thanks to Will Grigg, a header early on from a deep cross. West Ham look a little bit more at it at the start of this second half, probably because of what David Moyes and Stuart Pearce would have said to them at half-time. And here they go on the overlap down the left-hand side. Good strength. In comes the cross, comes off the defender, Byrne, and it's behind for a corner to West Ham in front of their own supporters.
That's better. 30 seconds on the clock, and all of a sudden they're on the front foot. They're attacking the fans behind the goal to the left-hand side, and they've got themselves a corner. This could change the whole complexity of the game, this.
Corner for West Ham from the left. In it comes, right-footed to the far post. Little push in the back there by Reece Oxford. And it's going to be a free kick to Wigan in their own penalty area.
That's that naivety that young lads sometimes bring to the party, you know. 30 seconds on the clock. It now looks like they're attacking their fans and they've let Wigan off the hook. The corner comes in. He's just not got to get involved. Try and get his head on the ball and get the second pieces.
Free kick taken by Wigan deep into the West Ham half. Ogbonna strides away down the left-hand side and then aims a spinning ball forward, looking for Martinez. Free kick for Wigan Athletic, midway inside their own half, centre field. John Akers and Phil Brown bringing you commentary on 5 Live Sports Extra.
There's only a minute on the clock. You can see there's a difference in the West Ham team straight away.
Yeah.
But again, noticeable. 2v2 at the back. They're not bothered about that, you know. I think that's what Cookie's not bothered about. Both fullbacks attacking at the same time.
Long ball forward then from Wigan, and it's found its way to Massey, and Massey's got a low cross in, and across comes Oxford to clear high and away and out of play, and it's a throw on the right. 2013, of course. And now his West Ham team have possession. Mario gets his first touch in the centre circle and does well with it. Gets it out onto the left-hand side. And Masuaku comes forward. Now the cross in from Martinez. Cleared away by Wigan. Masuaku with a heavy touch. Good play from Massey and Powell. And now Nathan Byrne to clear downfield for Will Grigg, who's up there on his own. He had a disallowed goal as well, Wigan. We've not seen any replays of that as to who was offside. I'm asking in the press box downstairs, anyone seen any replays of it? Because that would have been a major blow to West Ham and huge for Wigan, who were so far on top at the start of this game. If that disallowed goal has stood, it was difficult to see any way back for West Ham United.
John, I think we've only had to look to the left-hand side of the pitch at the moment. West Ham are attacking the left-hand side, and that's where the majority of the play was in the first half and is in the second half so far.
Well, Nick Powell thinks that was a throw-in to Wigan, and they're still complaining about it, the Wigan players. Masuaku, what's happened here? Masuaku's been sent off. He spat at Nick Powell. That's what we're hearing. Masuaku off for spitting at Nick Powell. Well, the Wigan players were incensed, and the referee, Mr. Kavanagh, went straight over to him and sent him off.
Well, if that's the case, John, it's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. I mean, 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes into the second half, and West Ham are now down to 10 men. Davy Moyes will be incensed by it. If he spat, they're chasing him off the pitch. They want him off the pitch. There's obviously been a transgression. It's still a West Ham throw-in.
Well, unless they get him off the pitch quickly here, this could bubble over, because he doesn't want to go off. Nick Powell still giving it some. He was the man who was spat at. And David Moyes now, if it wasn't bad before, he has got a proper job on his hand. And João Mario comes over for a chat with David Moyes, and the referee wants a chat with Nick Powell because of his reaction, I would have thought. Just tells him to calm down.
Yeah.
And João Mario must be thinking, what on earth is going on?
It's actually been handled very well by the referee, because these kind of incidences can get out of control.
You seen that before? Spitting, sending off?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've witnessed it. It's not nice. Never is nice.
I'd rather be punched in the face, I think.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
West Ham in possession with 10 men. Losing 1-0 at Wigan. Overhit ball. Goal kick Wigan. 5 minutes of the second half gone.
The strange thing was it was West Ham's good start to the second half. Why Matsuaka's done it, I've no idea. Whether he was incensed by a comment by Powell or whatever, you've still got to show some kind of a level of control. Wow. That's going to be 2, 3, possibly even 4 weeks' wages. It's ridiculous.
There was nothing in it in the build-up to it. It was a throw-in, which was contested, was it? I didn't even see a little flick out or an exchange of words before it. I didn't see anything to say someone's going to lose it here.
And that's the thing, when you haven't got the replays, you can't make that judgment. It's obviously been a spitting incident, but we can't confirm it here.
I'll see if anyone in the studio gets the chance to have a little look at that again and just check it. As Hart aims his goal kick downfield, and West Ham are in possession deep in their own half, and that's gone straight out of play. It's a Wigan throw. This is quite incredible. Wigan 1-0 up and cruising anyway. West Ham have had one shot on goal in the game in the first half. Wigan with the most of the possession. The goal from Will Grigg, a disallowed goal on top of it. Now they're up against 10 men. What will be the challenges for both teams now? They sometimes say playing against 10 men can be difficult. What have you seen that David Moyes has done since he's had 10?
Well, what David Moyes, he waved João Mario, the new boy, waved him across as soon as the red card was given, and he's gone into a sort of I would say a 4-3-2. They've definitely still got the front two in Chicharito and Martinez, and it looks like João Mario's on the narrow side, I would have said, with Reece Oxford and Josh Cullen would be the three, I think. That's the way it's looking, 4-3-2, but they've stuck with the back four. This will be a challenge for anybody. You know, the way Wigan wins total control in the first half, and 5 minutes into the second half, it looked like it was going to be one-way traffic the other way. Now they're down to 10 men, West Ham.
Ball cleared away high by Wigan, and West Ham have the throw. Or is it a free kick? And they've got ironic cheers from the West Ham fans. You must be wondering what on earth is going on.
All West Ham and David Moyes can hope for that doesn't go to 2. If it goes to 2, it'll be game over. If it stays at 1, the longer it stays at 1, you would expect that Premier League quality to come through at some stage.
Well, West Ham winners in the 60s, 70s and 80s, of course. That famous goal, Trevor Brooking, looked like it just hit him on the head, didn't it, in the final in 1980. One in 76 as well. Made the final in 2006. And of course we've had West Ham winners United, haven't we? Hurst and Brooking. I wonder what they've been making of this so far.
Yeah, me.
This is a big difference. Proud football club, trailing 1-0 at a League One club, with a man sent off for spitting in the second half. West Ham with some defending to do. Massey putting them under pressure, cleared away by West Ham up towards halfway. Nathan Byrne will have a throw 5 yards inside his own half on the right hand side for Wigan Athletic.
I think there was a miscontrol by Paul Cook there. I've seen Paul Cook play, and he can play. I think he's miscontrolled that.
Ball came out to the Wigan manager, who's pleading with the fourth official at the moment. He's not very happy with something, Paul Cook, down there. I think he's going to burst a blood vessel. Cresswell hacks it upfield for West Ham. Martinez and Hernandez have been totally ineffective the whole game.
It looks like he's pulled Hernandez over to the left-hand side now, so he may have just compromised and gone 4-4-1 with Martinez up top on his own.
Chip forward towards Martinez, but Dunkley and Byrne, anything that's been in the air all day, they've won everything, and Will Grigg has drawn a foul, and Wigan have a free kick 5 yards inside their own half.
Great experience, that fantastic experience, waiting for the challenge and went to ground. As soon as the challenge came in, he felt anything, Will Grigg went to ground. Now Wigan are in control of the game.
Elsewhere in the FA Cup, Rochdale leading 2-1 at Millwall now. Birmingham have equalised at Huddersfield as well.
That will be a shock.
They're struggling, aren't they, down at the bottom of League One, Rochdale? All cleared away by West Ham. Wigan have possession again with Jacobs, who's running forward, tries to break a couple of challenges, but he is tackled. But Wigan have it back on the right with Nathan Byrne, who's got 3 in the middle to aim for with a cross here. Flicks off the top of her head, picked up by Jacobs on the far side. In fact, it's the fullback Elder, and Grigg with a free header. That was some opportunity, I think, from Will Grigg. He just glanced off his forehead behind for a goal kick to West Ham.
That just sums Wigan up to a T. Nathan Byrne attacking down the right-hand side. Cross goes into the far post, and there's the opposite fullback, Callum Elder, who picks up the second ball, puts a great ball in it. It looked like Will Grigg was offside, but he's still got a head in. That's just the type of striker he is. He lives on the shoulder of them centre-halves.
Joe Hart's kick downfield, bounces a couple of times and goes out of play, and it's a throw-in to Wigan Athletic, who are top of League One, of course. 5 points clear of Blackburn. And West Ham, 11th in the Premier League, made 6 changes for this game. But without a few key players, it has to be said, through injury, and attacking players at that. Carroll, Arnautovic, Lanzini.
Quite a few, isn't it, when you think about it? You put them up against Martinez and Chicharito, there's a big difference.
Yeah, we've got someone who's seen a replay, and Masuaku definitely spat at Nick Powell, according to that replay.
Deserves everything he gets if that's the case.
I wonder what the ban will be for that. I can't remember a spitting sending off at a game I've done.
But it just shows you, John, you said it, you know, you'd rather be punched in the face, and it's so
think
true.
So, yeah. Byrne bringing the ball forward for Wigan. He's done well, Nathan Byrne, over halfway, midway inside the West Ham half. He's still going, now plays a ball in field for Morsey. West Ham singing I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles, trying to raise the spirits of their team, who are down to 10 men and trailing 1-0. Nathan Byrne, 3 in the middle to aim at here. In the middle, Byrne puts in a cross, headed away, and it's come to Chicharito on the left-hand side. Gets a little flick and is fouled. Didn't do very much in the way of defending there, though.
I don't know if that's Davy Moyes' ploy, but when Nathan Byrne went forward there, it was a cross-field pass, came to the right-hand side, and Chicharito stayed. He didn't actually track him back, and that puts a little bit of undue pressure on your back 4 and your midfield 3. It's a sort of cheating. But if they defend properly and the ball comes out to him, he has to counter-attack, and he hasn't. He's got the ball and got a free kick, but now Wigan have 11 men behind the ball now.
Hart with the kick. West Ham win the header. Cullen, Republic of Ireland international, who hasn't stopped running and trying in there for West Ham. It's been such a bizarre game. Wigan have just been better. All in every department, all over the pitch. 58 on the clock. Wigan 1, West Ham 0 on Sports Extra from the BBC. That'll be a goal kick for Wigan. He tried to keep it in play on the far side, and it's out, and it's a goal kick.
I think it was Rhys Oxford, wasn't it? He went midfield, made a channel run, went into the channel, and tried to do a little bit of magic, getting across in, whatever it was, and he's put the ball out for a goal kick.
7 unbeaten going into this, West Ham, in all competitions. Their longest run since 2016, when an Andy Carroll hat-trick got them a 3-3 draw with Arsenal and kept them in Champions League contention back then under Slaven Bilic. And they've been on a good run under David Moyes, and at the moment this has got to be their worst performance since he came to the club. They really have struggled, and there are a lot of young lads out there, and there were 6 changes, but there's also some quality and some experience out there too.
You're still representing West Ham, doesn't matter what age you are, and I know that Terry Wesley's done a great job in terms of the 23s at West Ham. He's produced 1 or 2, but putting 5 and 6 out in the same team, that's when your team's going to struggle.
Wigan in possession with Nick Powell running forward down the right. He's got Byrne up ahead of him, tries to go between 2, Nick Powell, and just shows too much of it to the defender, and it's back to Joe Hart, and Joe Hart plants it long, but it's won by 6'7" Dan Byrne. And now Jacobs running forward for Wigan, past a couple of men. Can he get a low cross in? Powell is waiting, in comes the cross towards Grigg. Massey can't control it, and West Ham will bring it clear through Ogbonna. And now João Mario, wearing gloves and long sleeves in the midfield, gives the ball away with a left-footed crossfield pass that he just didn't get hold of.
Didn't at all, did he? Ogbonna came out from the back and looked like he was going to go all the way. He gave the ball to Mario, and he's given it away so cheaply. For a Premier League player, it's poor.
Notts County have equalised against Swansea as Grigg picks up possession. Is he going to have a go here? Will Grigg, was that handball? What does the referee say? Yes. Penalty for Wigan Athletic.
The referee's assistant actually gave it. The flag went up straight away. It looks like it's a good decision from him, to be fair.
Where's the assistant referee pointing? The assistant referee is pointing at the corner flag at the minute.
Is he?
But the ball is on the spot. It is a penalty.
For sure, it looked like they won the same hymn sheet there, but it was movement again by Will Grigg. He's got him behind, and he's tried to... I mean, he'd gone past the first centre-half like he wasn't there. The second centre-half came across, and he's tried to go past him, and it's caught his hand by the looks of it. This is where you need Joe Hart to step up to the plate. If you're going to stay in this tie, Joe Hart's got to make a save.
It's Will Grigg, who's already scored one in the game. Can the 2013 winners of the FA Cup put out another Premier League team? Right-footed down the middle and scores! Will Grigg is on fire, and he could just have sent Wigan through to round 5 of the FA Cup at the expense of an awful West Ham United, who look dejected with 10 men. Wigan 2, West Ham 0.
It's been a disastrous day, if truth be known. I'm only 62 minutes into it. It's gone 2-0. This could end up 3 or 4. Will Griggs earned himself the right to get the second goal, and he got it via a penalty. Joe Hart was dancing from left to right, right to left, and he put it straight down the middle when he made his dive. He's on a hat-trick now. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets it.
Well, what a story. And they absolutely deserve it. You think it was handball, Phil?
It was difficult to see from here, but when he went up for it, he looked like he was trying to volley it over his head, and it's caught him somewhere on the body, and without a replay I can't really tell, but he's appealed for it straight away, and the linesman's give it, I think.
Well, that is incredible. And Wigan have been so good at the back, you can't see any way back for West Ham. They haven't created anything in the game, really. They had one little flurry of efforts at the end of the first half where Reece Oxford put a shot over the bar, but with 10 men, it didn't look like doing it with 11, but with 10, it looks like it could well be beyond them.
Well, the strange thing, you're saying that, John, with 11, for that 5-minute spell before, you know, from the half-time whistle to the 50th minute, and Matsuaka decides to, for some reason, it looked like West Ham were going to get a foothold in the game. But now, no chance at the moment.
Wigan 2, West Ham 0. As the ball's played forward towards Massey, West Ham get the ball back to Joe Hart, the goalkeeper. Chips it to the left. They're putting so much pressure on West Ham, and that's out of play. And it is a Wigan throw. Outworked, out-defended, out-muscled, and outscoring them by 2-0, the League One team at the moment.
I was going to say it's a phenomenal performance, but it's not had to be. You know, West Ham have just not been at their best. They've not been anywhere near the standard you would expect from a West Ham team, and from a Davy Moyes team, to be fair. And that's so uncharacteristic, the red card of a Davy Moyes team. He's a disciplined man. He likes his teams to play with discipline, organisation. The one downside, I suppose, is the tackle that saw off. Was it Ogbonna that went off? No, Obiang. And I suppose that's the one bad moment for West Ham. But you just can't. You can't legislate for the sending off. It's ridiculous.
14,194 here. Almost 5,000 West Ham fans have come all this way to see this. And you do have to fit. There'll be a certain amount of anger amongst those supporters. For the team selection, in hindsight, I'd probably say, and just for the performance of the players that are out there.
I think I was just listening to Davy's comments before the game, and he was talking about having durable players at West Ham, players that can play 2-3 games a week. He doesn't seem to have that mentality in the camp at the moment. And you need to have that, he has to have a foothold in the club, let alone, he's only been in, 2-3 months at this moment in time. You need to have a foothold in the camp, big style, that gets a season under your belt, so everybody at the club knows exactly what the manager's about. And this is certainly not a Davy Moyes performance.
Free kick for Wigan, 10 yards inside the West Ham half. Right-footed, in it comes, headed away by Ogbonna. Nathan Byrne gets it to Massey, who's got a one-on-one here with Cresswell. Byrne's gone down the outside of him, tries to play a ball to Byrne. Man goes down in the penalty area, appeals for a penalty, waved away. Sold short there is Morsey rather. But Wigan are in possession on the left-hand side, attacking West Ham. And they have a throw, level with the 18-yard box.
Total control, John. Total control.
Coventry are 1-0 up at MK Dons in the FA Cup. Nathan Byrne's got loads of room on the right. And so here has Massey. Byrne again. Deep cross, looking for Jacobs. Goes over his head. Elder, does he keep it in? He doesn't. It's a goal kick for Joe Hart and West Ham United.
It's poor, isn't it? It's got to be said, you're flying the flag for the Premier League here as West Ham United, and you just made reference to it. Nearly 5,000 travelling fans. It just shows you how important the game is to them, and to see that level of performance from the team is just poor. It's very poor.
Just trying to watch the replay of the someone's got a laptop down there of the incident that got Masuaku sent off.
I think the Wigan players were incensed straight away, weren't they?
Yeah.
Something untoward had gone on.
Here's João Mario on loan from Inter for West Ham. Now Hernandez. Can they fashion a goal? Can they make it a game? Square to Cullen. And now Martinez through towards João Mario. It's behind for a goal kick to Wigan Athletic.
It's nothing, is it? It's fizzling out, there's no sort of, nothing continuity about the way they're playing. It's passing and moving, but with no real thought process. And it's not just young lads, you're talking about, there's one or two seniors doing that. They're looking, it's almost headless chickens what you're seeing.
In the Championship, Fulham have equalised at Barnsley. Bristol City are 2-0 up against QPR. Wolves still leading by a goal to nil. Southend 2, Scunthorpe 2 is the latest score. Southend 1-0 down, your old club, Phil.
Yep.
2-1 up, now 2-2. Sounds like a decent game. And Shrewsbury 1-0 up at Portsmouth, and Plymouth leading Oldham 2-1. Blackburn still 1-0 down at home to Northampton.
That's that proverbial cup and bust that you're talking about.
Yeah, and that'll suit Wigan just fine. They'll have a game in hand after this on Blackburn, with a chance to go 8 points clear if it stays like that at the top of League One. Usually when you do these FA Cup games, League One against Premier League, you are in a situation where the Premier League team might be 2 or 3 up early on. I did Exeter versus West Brom. They went 2-0 up pretty early. It was pretty much over as a contest.
Yeah,
it's been the other
this morning.
It's been the other way round.
Yeah,
the League One team are just cruising.
And it's on, we talked about Gareth Southgate's in the crowd, and you're wondering why Gareth Southgate in the crowd. But Nick Powell's been outstanding today. Outstanding. If you're looking at against Premier League opposition, you just can't overlook it. He's been man of the match kind of performance from minute 1 to nearly 69 minutes on the clock now.
Well, he'll be having a look at Joe Hart, won't he? That's why he'll be here for the World Cup. And Aaron Cresswell, maybe three England caps under his belt. But here's Klein up against Cresswell. Byrne rather, square, but it's intercepted by West Ham. And now it's with Morsey for Wigan in centre field. What would you do with the England goalkeeping situation at the moment, Phil Brown?
Ooh, that is a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, every time Joe Hart plays, he looks like he's on form. He's in, not in the form of his life by any stretch of the imagination, because he's only getting cup games. But it's a difficult one with the quality of Joe Hart. It is.
If you're not playing though, week in, week out,
yeah,
you've got to look at it, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Here go Wigan down the left. The centre back's gone on a big mazy run. Dan Byrne, that's why the crowd was so excited. But his shot is blocked. Wigan are in possession. with Max Power. 2 waiting in the middle for a cross. West Ham look like they've given up. Ball through towards Byrne. Hacked away. Hernandez picks it up and could break for West Ham. João Mario's up there with him. But Hernandez on the halfway line is still going. On his own at present. Hernandez switches the play. Overhit. Lovely first touch from João Mario. He's in possession again on the left-hand side. Back it goes to Cresswell.
You're just expecting so much more from Hernandez. He gives you nothing, really. He gives you nothing as a striker. And look at him now. His team's in possession. He's not working to try and get back on side. He's standing in an offside position. 2 centre-halves are squeezing up. Oh, it's poor. It's very poor.
That was a poor ball from Cullen, straight out of play. He looks like he's blowing to me, Javier Hernandez, as well. Taking really deep breaths.
He looks like he's passing the blame to me. You know, he has that shrug of his shoulders in a foreign kind of manner. And it's, you know, for me, it's everybody's fault. I get that. But you have to take responsibility. You're a senior pro out there with 5 or 6 young lads.
Game of the day looks to be in League 2. Swindon 2, Crewe 3 at the moment. And I would expect more goals in that game. And West Ham are in possession here, trailing 2-0 against Wigan on Sports Extra. As Cresswell puts in a cross, left-footed, missed for once by a Wigan defender, and the ball's gone out.
That's what I'm pointing at, you know. I mean, David Moyes is there with his head in his hands. Hernandez, you just said Hernandez is blowing. He's got on a run, and for 2-3 minutes he stood still, and the ball comes flashing across the 6-yard box, and he's standing outside the penalty box. It's poor from an experienced player.
Is he not bothered? I don't know.
It's not looking that way. It's not looking. You know, one thing you've got to do is wear the shirt with pride. It doesn't matter whether you're in a losing team or winning team. It doesn't matter. You've got to wear the shirt with pride. These 5,000 fans have travelled from London. It's amazing. It really is.
I did mention a few moments ago that when Wigan come forward, it looks like West Ham have given up. And he's made 2 changes already, David Moyes, and he's got 10 men because Masuaku was sent off for spitting. Wigan are going to bring on Ryan Colclough, who's one of the best players at this level I've seen at beating players. He just beats them for fun, beats them once, twice, 3 times. And there's that great story where he scored a couple of goals, then ran down the tunnel straight to the birth of his child, still in his full kit. Did you see that, Phil?
Yeah, did I. Fantastic. You're looking at the bench for West Ham. It really is, you know, it's a problem for Dave. You know, he's probably, in hindsight, after this performance, he'd probably be better off out of the competition, and the only way he can win these fans over is by going performing against Crystal Palace on Tuesday night with a strong team.
Yeah. Wigan are in possession on the halfway line. 17 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Wigan are 2-0 up. It would be nice. I know Wigan have got to concentrate on the league, but wouldn't it be great to see them get to a quarter-final, a semi-final maybe, you know, to get a couple of home draws and to see them do something for the league.
Absolutely.
And for the competition.
I don't think Paul Cook would mind that at all. I think he thrives on the fact that he can pick the same team week in and week out. He thrives on the fitness levels of the players. He thrives on the fact that he can continuously pick the same team, maybe 1 or 2 changes, and that's it, maximum. I bet you Davey Moyes wishes he was in the same boat as that. This is going back to the goalkeeper again. West, there's just nothing on from him. Nothing at all.
It's back to Joe Hart. Still Notts County 1-1 with Swansea. And Huddersfield being held at home by Birmingham 1-1. And Middlesbrough holding Brighton. It's 0-0 there. Rochdale 2-1 up at Millwall still, which would be another surprise. And Southampton beating Watford right now.
Player gone down injured, I think, with an elbow. The referee's not saw any malice in it whatsoever, but I think there's a player, I'm not too sure who it is. But he's going to make a change, Cookie. I think he's going to put Colclough on, but maybe have to slow the decision down. Still the instructions going on to the pitch by Davy Moyes, trying to get something out of this tie, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that West Ham are going to go out the FA Cup.
Well, he's back up on his feet on the far side. And we're going to see Massey coming off for Wigan. And Colclough coming on. I just thought that'd be like for like. But Colclough will just play on the right of that 3. In behind Will Grigg. Scorer of 2 goals on a hat-trick.
It's number 27, Ryan Colclough.
My money's on Will Grigg will get a hat-trick as well. There's more chance of Will Grigg getting a hat-trick than maybe West Ham scoring a goal.
Well, Rochdale winning at Millwall at the moment, and that is where Wigan go next. They too play on Tuesday night. We only made 1 change for the game. Callum Elder, who's come in on his birthday, had a good game on loan from Leicester. We had that awful injury in the first half to Obiang, and that was a major moment, to be honest, in the game, because he was probably West Ham's best player up to that point in the midfield.
Without a shadow of a doubt, 76 minutes on the clock. It's at this moment in time a bad day at the office for Dave, with an injury to another senior player. 2-0 down, not looking likely at all.
Masuaku banned for God knows how long for the
player
spitting.
It's a ridiculous incident from a professional footballer.
Well, Elder has had a bang on the head, I think. He's down there in his with his shirt off at the moment. He's had a bang on the head, and he's obviously had some blood on his shirt, so they're just swapping his shirt.
Again, it typifies the spirit, He went down with an injury. They still made the same substitution that they were going to make. And Elder's going back on the field to play with a bandage on his head.
Terry Butcher style, Paul Ince style, whatever you want to call it. Morsey switches the play to the left for Wigan. It's been good, the captain. Well, they've all played well, all these Wigan players. Here's Colclough. Lovely ball through to Byrne. Low cross, should be 3. He's missed it. Can't see who it is. Head in hands, standing in the net. I think it's Nick Powell, who can't believe he's missed it. He's got his head in his hands, Nick Powell. He's devastated. It should be 3-0.
It should be 3-0. Nathan Byrne, again, he's been a thorn in the side of West Ham down the right-hand side. He's got crossing after crossing. Wigan players just got to get something on the end of it. I was expecting Will Grigg to score, but it was Powell. It should be 3-0, but they've got away with it.
Sheffield United beating Preston 1-0. Oh, that's a bad challenge from Ogbonna. Oh, it's a bad one. Doesn't look like he's going to get sent, but I'm not sure how in control he was. Tackle from behind on Will Grigg. What did you think of that, Phil?
It was a little bit wild, a little bit reckless. He's got the yellow card out, the referee. I think he was more involved with the incident beforehand, where there was another West Ham player went down injured, and he had one eye on that, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And it's good news for Ogbonna that he did.
He just went to try and win the ball on the halfway line, Ogbonna, and didn't get there before Will Grigg. He got a good piece of Will Grigg, but Will Grigg was back up quite quickly, and he's chatting to Joe Hart, and he's put 2 goals past him in this game so far. I've seen him score 4 in 2 in the FA Cup this season, Will Grigg. Must be that bond we had.
Yeah, from 3 months, wasn't it?
From 3 months, holding him as a baby.
I think what Paul Coote wants to do in an ideal world is make another couple of changes. You've just reminded me he's got a game on Tuesday night, which it's an important game. He gets another 3 points. He's running away with the league, if truth be known. Certainly if Blackburn get beat today.
They've just equalised, Blackburn 1-1 against Northampton. Danny Graham's just scored.
Priceless goal scorers, aren't they? Priceless. But he would, if he got the 3rd goal, I think he'd make a couple of changes and give maybe even Will Grigg a rest, and bring on the likes of Roberts or Stevie Bruce's son Alex is on the bench as well, isn't he?
West Ham player getting some treatment out there on the pitch still, and they're going to bring on a substitute, and it is going to be Haksabanovic, who's going to come on for West Ham United wearing the number 23. How quick are you hoping to get back into work, Phil? Get another job?
As soon as it comes, John. I've already I've talked to 2 or 3 people already, with positive signs, which is good news for me, I suppose. Sometimes the job that you do, you're in work for 5 years with one man, and it's hard work, when Ron Martin represented that football club as a one-man band, and that's a difficult position, but he he showed a lot of faith in his managers. I think he's only changed managers 3 times in the last 15, 16 years. So it was one of the main reasons why I went to Southend. Was that level of support, and it would be nice to get straight back in, to tell you the truth. Get into a nice project wherever we are, whether it be in this division or. I'm talking about this division, I'm not talking about the FA Cup, I'm talking about the first division, or whether it be higher or whether it be abroad. I'm open to offers,
Antonio Martinez has gone off, clutching his head. The day just gets worse and worse and worse for David Moyes. He was one of the players you were looking to take to Southend. He hasn't been able to affect the game at all. Not really through any fault of his own, he just hasn't been in it. West Ham haven't had the ball.
He played against a really strong team in Shrewsbury as well, and that was one thing I was looking at, the powerhouses, the 3 centre-halves for Shrewsbury, and he had a real tough time, and I was looking at that, the physical side of it, could he handle it?
In comes a cross from Wigan, cleared away at the near post by Reece Burke, and it's out for another Wigan throw. 9 minutes plus stoppage time remaining on 5 Live Sports Extra. Wigan 2, West Ham 0. Will Grigg with both. It's just been plain sailing for the League One team. Wouldn't have wanted a replay, West Ham, but this isn't what they would have expected. This is much, much worse. Challenge on Oxford, by Oxford, on Byrne, and forward come West Ham. Cleared away by Max Power for Wigan, and he's still down here, Nathan Byrne, after the challenge from Oxford.
It was a heavy challenge, but he got the ball, to be fair. I don't think it was a foul. I think the referee got it right. And he's not a soft lad, Nathan Byrne. In fact, if it wasn't for Powell, he would be close to being one of the man of the matches as well.
Yeah.
He's had a great game. Constant thorn in the side of the left-hand side of their defence.
I'm pretty sure the sponsors will give it to Will Grigg for his 2 goals.
Yeah, possibly. Certainly if he gets a third.
Yeah.
But there's been so many, hasn't there? The captain, look at the captain hounding down centre-half. This ends up back to the goalkeeper. It'll be the best cheer ever.
Ball down the line from Ogbonna, searching out João Mario, Portuguese, who played in all 7 of their games on the way to winning the European Championships. Portugal. On loan from Inter, lost his way a little bit. He's in possession, 25 yards from goal. Nice little dink ball towards Byram. Doesn't find him. Byram's not been able to make any impact. He's been on the right-hand side of midfield for the first half, and then at right back. They've had 10 men though for so long. 49th minute, Masuaku sent off for spitting. And Wigan are in possession. Been impressed with him, Dunkley.
Yeah, very much.
And Van Byrne.
Yeah. João Mario looks, the one thing that Davy Moyes will be looking at, can he handle a cold, wet, wintry day in Wigan in the FA Cup? This is welcome to England, not welcome to the Premier League, this is welcome to England.
Yep.
And he's shown 1 or 2 glimpses, to be fair to him.
Yeah, they've stopped playing rugby here, obviously. The pitch isn't what they'll be used to playing on in the Premier League. It's by no means a bad pitch, but it is starting to cut up a little bit in certain areas. But this will be a bit of a shock for João Mario, I would have thought. Coming on with your team 1-0 down. It's a foul on Aaron Cresswell. It's a free kick for West Ham, 2 yards in from the left-hand touchline. And there's a booking for... Is it Colclough?
Colclough, yeah.
Yeah.
2 men on the ball here. There's only one. Yeah, we go. I think Wigan are looking to make a change. They're looking to bring Roberts on.
Yeah, Gary Roberts is stripped off, ready to come on. Last chance for West Ham, you'd say.
Yeah,
Get one here.
Yeah.
They've got half a chance. Cresswell with the free kick. In it comes. Headed away. Well, Wigan who've defended so well. Anything in the air, they've won everything.
2 centre-halves. You can go through the whole team, as we've already made reference to, maybe 3 or even 4 having man-of-the-match performances. The 2 centre-halves have been outstanding as well. The goalkeeper's probably the only one that you can say no, because he's had nothing to do.
Still 1-1 between Notts County and Swansea over on 5 Live, if you want to hear commentary. Hull still leading Forest 2-0. Still 0-0 Borough and Brighton. Rochdale still leading Millwall 2-1. Trainer's coming on here to have a little word with Nick Powell, and Nick Powell is going to be the man that makes way. Have they changed their mind here?
Yeah,
Phil,
possibly.
On the substitution?
Possibly, yeah. I think Roberts has gone back in and bringing Reece James on.
Yeah, it's not Nick Powell, is it? It's Callum Elder who got that knock that bang to the head a few moments ago, he's going to come off on his birthday, 23. Happy birthday, he's done well. And on comes Reece James instead. So they've had to make that change. Obviously that head injury, it didn't feel quite right.
Leicester will be delighted sending a player out on loan to the top of the league. You know, the confidence that he's going to get from that.
Yeah, exactly. In comes the long throw from West Ham, flicked on. Can Wigan clear it? Bouncing around with Ogbonna at the moment, edge of the box. Little drop of the shoulder was quite smart from the substitute, who's still going. It's Haksabanovic. Looks lively. That's the most lively piece of play we've seen from West Ham. And then a really poor cross.
With 3 Wigan players around him to stop the cross. That's just synonymous of today's performance from Wigan Athletic.
Coventry still 1-0 up at MK Dons. Forest have got one back against Hull. We've got 4 minutes plus stoppage time here, and there will be a fair amount of it, I would have thought.
This doesn't look too clever neither. I do apologise to West Ham fans, but I think another player's gone down. I think it's Reece Burke who's gone to ground. He's holding his back.
Holding the bottom of his back. The doctor and the physio have done more running than most of the West Ham midfield players, to be fair.
I'm glad you said that, John. Roberts is eventually going to get probably 10 minutes. Well, it's less than 10, isn't it?
Yeah.
If there's another 3 or 4 minutes extra time,
there'll be quite a bit of stoppage time, won't there?
Yeah.
The sending off took a while to work out, didn't it? And unfortunately, we have had 2 or 3 injuries in the game. Yeah, Roberts is coming on.
Will Grigg.
Well, he deserves a round of applause. An old-fashioned English, Northern Irish centre forward rather. He had 2 opportunities to score, really. 3 tops. Took 2 of them.
Yeah, without a shadow. Made the penalty for himself, took the penalty. You know, the goalkeeper's dancing around on the line. That's normally a sign that he's going to move. Consequently, Will Grigg held his nerve, put it straight down the middle. Got the second goal. He'd be disappointed that he's coming off that. He never got his chance to get the hat-trick, but that ball flashed across from Nathan Byrne across the 6-yard box. He's got to be close to it, and I'm sure Powell was as well.
While we got this injury still, let me bring you up to date with what's going on in the Championship. Barnsley 1, Fulham 1, Brentford 0, Norwich 1, Bristol City 2, QPR 0, and Wolves still 1-0 up at Ipswich. Into League One, AFC Wimbledon 4-0 up at Bradford City.
Wow,
that is a anomaly.
If there's no red cards here, that's a phenomenal scoreline.
There's no red cards there, Phil.
Wow, Joe Pickett, he went on loan, Joe Pickett, didn't he? In fact, they might have bought him from non-league. Had Joe Pickett at Southend from Charlton.
The goals, Adu has got 1, McDonald's got a couple for AFC Wimbledon, and Barcham has got the other one. We're back underway. Wigan in possession deep in their own half. Gillingham 1, Fleetwood 1, Doncaster 1, Bristol Rovers 3, Plymouth are 2-1 up at Oldham. They were 2-0 up. Shrewsbury are 1-0 up at Portsmouth. Still 2-2 Southend and Scunthorpe. And Blackburn 1-1 with Northampton as Wigan chip the ball forward. Intercepted. They've gone back to Joe Hart, the goalkeeper, via Ogbonna. He won't like that back pass much, Joe Hart. Little push in the back from Max Power. West Ham have possession though, with Haksabanovic. Free kick for Wigan. 10 yards inside the West Ham half on the right. In League 2, Carlisle 1, Forest Green 0, Cheltenham 1, Barnet 1, Stevenage 1-0 up at Chesterfield. All of these coming towards the end. Crawley 2, Accrington 1, Luton 1-0 up at Grimsby, Morecambe 1, Mansfield 1, Port Vale 1, Colchester 2, and Swindon 3, Crewe 3. Told you there'd be more goals.
Yeah, you did.
In that one.
Are you a gambling man, John?
I've had a coupon today.
And?
It's going very badly, Phil. Thanks for asking.
You didn't take West Ham, did you?
I didn't take West Ham. Although I thought at almost 2-1 with Wigan as favourites, I thought that was a very generous Premier League against League One. But they were right. They were right.
They very rarely get it wrong, the bookmakers. They'll have weighed up the situation, how many changes he was going to make and how many kids he was going to play and how many injuries West Ham had and how well Wigan are doing. And my word, the bookmakers have certainly got it right.
Swindon 4, Crewe 3.
Yeah.
Just to Crewe were 3-1 up. Can't hold on to a lead. They were 2-2 with seconds left last week against Wycombe as well. It's in League One. They've had a man sent off, Crew. Goal kick for West Ham. We've got, if he turns around, the assistant, 4 minutes of added time. Thought it might be more than that. Maybe he's being kind to West Ham because they just want to get back on the coach and get back home after this.
Well, we said nearly 5,000 in the away end. There must be less than 1,000 there now, and rightly so. They've gone home. They'll be dejected by the performance of that team, I think. And I think what Davy Moyes has got to do, he's got to put as strong a team and as good a performance as he possibly can do on Tuesday night against Crystal Palace and get something from the game.
Brighton have taken the lead at Middlesbrough late. Middlesbrough 0, Brighton 1. West Ham volley the ball forward. Hernandez will chase it, but it's comfortable for Christian Walton, the goalkeeper for Wigan, who hasn't done anything all day.
Ironic cheers from the Wigan fans there. It's the first thing he's had to do.
He's just taken goal kicks all day, really. He's had one cross that came in that he tried to get a fist to. What else? Ball bounces. Chance for Roberts running onto it. Cleared away by West Ham. Throw in for Wigan near the halfway line. Millwall have equalised against Rochdale, 2-2. Still 1-1, Notts County and Swansea.
I dare say with that Millwall equaliser, we have probably got the upset of the round here.
Yeah.
Albeit we have talked about the bookmakers getting it right.
Yeah. Notts County, that would be a great replay for them, Notts County, if they get a 1-1 versus Swansea. Swansea picked a strong team, not a Swan team, a strong team.
Kevin Nolan done a great job. Short space of time, he's done a fabulous job. Known very well from the Bolton days, you know, he was always going to go into management.
Hart's kick, long. I don't know what they're cheering at, the fans. But Colclough runs forward for Wigan, taken off him by Burke, who's back up on his feet and okay after that knock to his back.
He does look gingerly though, doesn't he?
He is just jogging like he's in a little bit of pain, doesn't he? Port Vale have equalised in League 2, 2-2 against Colchester United. Crawley have beaten Accrington 2-1. West Ham clear away, João Mario.
You know, we haven't seen Davy Moyes down at the bottom in the dugout for a long time, and the reason being he'd be really disappointed in his team's performance. You know, wearing a West Ham shirt, you've got to wear it with pride, and they're having today.
Ogbonna tries to play in the substitute, Haksabanovic. It's cleared away by Wigan. We've got just over a minute remaining of normal time. Wigan 2, West Ham 0. 5 Live Sports Extra from the BBC. One of many live FA Cup commentaries for you here. We've got 2 more for you later on. Newport versus Spurs. Great draw for Newport. Delighted for them. That'll be interesting.
Will.
And then Liverpool versus West Brom is the 7:45 kickoff.
That's the interesting one. Will Harry Kane play against Newport?
Yeah.
You know, because that's the type of attitude, mentality you want from a striker. You know, it doesn't matter if he's top striker in the Premier League by a long way. He'll still want to play against Newport to get more goals, and that's the mentality he's got at Spurs at the moment.
West Ham are in possession with João Mario. And Wigan in possession on the left. And there goes the final whistle. It's all over, and Wigan have made easy work of Premier League opposition once again by beating West Ham United here comfortably, just as they did with Bournemouth here in the last round. They are into the 5th round thanks to 2 goals from Will Grigg. It finished Wigan 2, West Ham 0. Phil Brown.
John, it's been a great advert for First Division football. I mean, Wigan are at the top of the league and they're flying high and they're playing with confidence and belief in themselves. And not only that great mentality of clean sheets at the back, the 2 centre-halves personifying that. But there were streets ahead of West Ham today. I don't care whether it's a Premier League club or not. They just didn't wear the shirt with pride, the West Ham players today. And Davy Moyes will be very, very disappointed in his players. I would be frightened, if truth be known, walking into that changing room, because I think the backroom staff show more passion, show more pride than what the players did today. It's been a bad day at the office for David. He's had 2 or 3 major injuries as well that'll probably have to carry into Tuesday night's game against Crystal Palace, but that's the next one for them, and they've got to make sure they get something from that game, or they're going to lose that travelling support, and that support today deserve better.
Been a pleasure working with you again, Phil.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for being with us. Love to see you as part of our team, but also hoping you get back into football as soon as possible.
Thank you very much, John.
Phil Brown, part of our commentary team, on another brilliant day in a fantastic season for the 2013 winners of the FA Cup. Wigan Athletic through. They're in the hat. Shock of the round so far. For round 5, they've beaten West Ham here by 2-0.
Get more from BBC 5 Live with 5 Live Podcasts.
More news.
Welcome to the latest edition of Eye of the Storm.
Good day, Brexit casters.
Welcome to Headliners.
More sport. You can now download the new Bespoke Weekly podcast.
That's us, the EuroLeague's football podcast.
Thanks for downloading at home with Colin Murray.
I missed the green right. 9-9 went in the hazard. I've never been so angry on a golf course in my life.
More 5 Live.
Really excited to start being a boss in the gym. Hashtag fit and fearless.
Yes,
that is what it's all about.
Kermit and Mayer's Film Review. Award-winning podcast.
Search 5 Live in your podcast app.
You might have seen through my cunning trap.
Get more from BBC 5 Live.
5 Live's Rugby Union Weekly.
You bake some cookies and you talk about rugby, mate. How hard can it be?
Can you just repeat after me? I'm Anthony Watson.
I'm Anthony Watson.
And when I'm not scoring tries for England.
And when I'm not scoring tries for England.
And the Lions.
And the Lions.
I listen to the Rugby Union Weekly podcast.
I listen to the Rugby Union Weekly podcast.
Eddie Jones is with us. How you doing?
Very well, thanks, mate. How are you?
5 Live's Rugby Union Weekly.
Download it.
Subscribe, search for Rugby Union Weekly online or in your podcast app.
More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra.
As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another, uninterrupted and in full.
Including cricket.
Goals and pancakes. Bowl, it's all over. As England win by 266 runs.
Athletics, swimming, boxing, Formula 1.
The crowd in the grandstands are on their feet. Lewis Hamilton comes out of the final corner to win the British Grand Prix at Silverstone.
Rugby League.
It's game over. That is job done.
Basketball. Rugby Union.
He crashes into the Springboks and gains 1 metre.
Tennis.
Djokovic's backhand. Federer's in the rally now.
Football.
Oh, it's fabulous! It is absolutely fabulous!
For more info, click bbc.co.uk/5 Live. More live sport, pure live sport.
You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra.
More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra.
As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another, uninterrupted and in full.
Including cricket.
Goals and pancakes. Bowl, it's all over. As England win by 266 runs.
Athletics, swimming, boxing, Formula 1.
The crowd in the grandstands are on their feet. Lewis Hamilton comes out of the final corner to win the British Grand Prix at Silverstone.
Rugby League.
It's game over. That is job done.
Basketball. Rugby Union.
He crashes into the Springboks and gains 1 metre.
Tennis.
Djokovic's backhand. Federer's in the rally now.
Football.
Oh, it's fabulous! It is absolutely fabulous!
For more info, click bbc.co.uk/5 Live. More live sport, pure live sport.
You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra.
More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra.
As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra